Before you judge the next man who joins a prison gang, remember this. Some men join for power. Some join for protection. But others, they join because the only thing more dangerous than gangs is being left alone. Today, you're about to hear one of the most shocking true stories to come out of Redwood State Penitentiary. A story the prison tried to bury. A story the gangs tried to erase. A story about a man who learned the hard way. Joining a prison gang doesn't save your life. It just gives someone else permission to take it. This is what happened to Antonio Tone Ramirez, a man who thought joining a gang would protect him. Instead, it nearly destroyed everyone around him. Tone entered Redwood at 21 years old. Small frame, quiet, not a fighter, not a troublemaker, just a kid who made a mistake, driving the getaway car for a robbery he didn't know would turn violent. Someone else pulled the trigger. But Tone got 12 years. And inside Redwood, 12 years is enough time to live, die, and be forgotten 3 times over. His first hour on the yard changed everything. Because the moment Tone stepped into that concrete battlefield, 3 gangs noticed him at the exact same time. Redwood had 3 major crews. The North Block crew, mostly Latino, ruthless, structured, disciplined. The Steel Demons, white supremacists, covered in ink, violent without warning. La Federación Negra, a powerful black coalition controlling most of the underground economy. Tone didn't belong to any of them. But gangs don't care who you are. They only care what you can become. And Tone looked like something dangerous. A recruit. A clean slate. No enemies. No loyalty. No family backing him. To a gang, that's not weakness. It's opportunity. Tone tried to mind his business, keep his head down. But prison doesn't allow peace. On his second night, 3 demons cornered him in the shower. Tone backed up, slipping on wet concrete, heart pounding. He knew what was coming. But before the first punch landed, a voice echoed from behind. "Leave him. He's under our wing now." The demons froze. Tone turned. And standing there was Ghost, a mid-level shot caller from the North Block crew. Tall, cold, eyes like he had seen death more than once, and didn't fear meeting it again. Tone didn't understand what had just happened. He didn't ask for help. He didn't know these men. But Ghost made the choice for him. You roll with us now. And in Redwood, you roll with us isn't an invitation. It's a sentence. Joining the North Block came with rules. Rules Tone didn't understand. Rules no one explained until it was too late. He had to sit with them at meals. Had to follow their orders. Had to run messages, carry supplies, stand lookout. And the deeper he got, the more he realized. Protection is never free. Tone wasn't just joining a gang. He was being absorbed into a machine. A machine that didn't stop moving, even when blood got caught in its gears. But Tone didn't complain. Ghost looked out for him, showed him respect, taught him how to survive. In a place where no one cares if you live or die, loyalty becomes oxygen. Tone would later learn that loyalty is also the easiest way to get suffocated. After 2 months, Tone thought he understood prison life. He was wrong. One night, Ghost called him over. Tone walked into a quiet storage room behind the kitchen and saw 2 other members waiting. On the table was a package, wrapped in brown paper, small, heavy. Ghost slid it toward him. "Take this to C Block. Give it to Reaper. No stops. No eyes." Tone didn't ask what it was. In Redwood, curiosity gets men killed. But as he held the package, something inside shifted. Metal. Cold. A weapon. Maybe drugs. Maybe something worse. Tone's hand shook. Ghost placed a hand on his shoulder. Not comforting. Claiming. "You're one of us now, homie. Don't mess this up." Tone nodded. He didn't know it yet. But that package would become the reason a 19-year-old kid would die. The reason Tone would be blamed. The reason the entire prison would turn against him. And the reason Tone would one day find out the biggest secret Redwood had ever hidden. Tone walked through the dim hallway toward C-Block. The lights flickered. The smell of bleach and sweat clung to the air. Every step felt heavier. Every sound felt louder. He reached the cell, Reaper's cell. The same Reaper who commanded the North Block crew with an iron fist. Tone held out the package. Reaper smirked, took it, and said nothing. Tone turned to leave. But as he did, he heard something inside the cell. A second voice. Quiet. Whispering. Tone paused, listened, and heard a name. Ghost. Tone walked away with a knot in his stomach. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. It was the first sign. The first crack. The first moment Tone realized the gang he joined wasn't what it seemed. And soon, he'd learn the truth. He wasn't recruited. He was chosen. For something deadly. The day the yard went silent wasn't just another day at Redwood. It was the day everything changed. A young inmate named Rico Little Saint Alvarez was found bleeding in the corner of the yard. Stabbed, lifeless eyes staring at the sky. Saint was no ordinary inmate. Barely 19, he was the youngest recruit of the North Block crew, protected by almost everyone. He wasn't supposed to be here, much less dead. The news spread like wildfire, igniting fear and rage across every gang in the prison. Saint's death was more than a tragedy. It was a spark. The North Block declared war, accusing rival gangs without hesitation. Steel demons tightened their defenses, preparing for retaliation. La Federación Negra kept a close watch, wary of who might strike next. But the real target was clear, Tone. Because the last person seen with Saint was Tone himself. Tone knew he was innocent. He hadn't harmed Saint. But in Redwood, innocence means nothing. Rumors painted Tone as the betrayer, the one who stabbed Saint. With no proof to defend himself, Tone found himself isolated, hunted by former allies and enemies alike. Every step outside his cell was a step toward danger. And worse, the prison's own guards turned a blind eye. Just when Tone's world was collapsing, a whisper of hope arrived. A message from Ghost, his closest ally, now transferred to another block. Before leaving, Ghost had slipped Tone a secret. A package hidden beneath Tone's bunk. Inside, a phone with a video message. Ghost's face appeared, weary but determined. He warned Tone that Saint's death wasn't random. That Tone was set up. That powerful forces inside the prison wanted him gone. And that the package was the key to exposing the truth. Tone played the video repeatedly. Ghost confessed he was forced to betray them, threatened with harm to his family on the outside. He revealed that Saint's murder was orchestrated by their own leader, Reaper. The package contained evidence, recorded conversations, documents linking Reaper to corrupt prison officials. Tone realized he was caught in a deadly game of power and betrayal. But the story didn't end there. As Tone dug deeper, he discovered that Ghost wasn't just a victim. He was a double agent. The package wasn't just evidence against Reaper. It was a bargaining chip. A secret deal between Ghost and the Warden. A plan to topple Reaper's reign. And Saint's death? A tragic price to pay in a war far bigger than any one gang. Tone's fight wasn't just for survival anymore. It was for the soul of Redwood itself. After the truth hit him like a bullet, Tone found himself more isolated than ever. The North Block had turned their backs, convinced he was a traitor. The Steel Demons and La Federación were closing in, their eyes hungry for revenge. Even the guards, who once seemed indifferent, now watched Tone like a ticking time bomb. Every step he took was shadowed by danger. Every breath could be his last. With nowhere else to turn, Tone made a desperate choice. He sought out Darius, the old, quiet inmate who ran the prison library. A man with no known gang ties, but who seemed to know everything. Darius agreed to help, but his price was high. Information, access, and a favor owed. Tone knew this was his only chance. But in Redwood, favors always come due in blood. Together, they decrypted the files hidden on the burner phone. What they found was explosive. Secret communications between Reaper and the Warden, discussing shipments, bribes, and silencing threats. proof that Reaper controlled the prison from the inside, turning gangs into pawns to maintain his grip on power. But there was more. Names of informants, plans to eliminate rivals, and the chilling reality that Saint's death was just the beginning. As the pieces fell into place, Tone realized the clock was ticking. Reaper had marked him for death. Gangs were closing ranks. The prison was a powder keg ready to blow. Tone had two choices: run and hide, or fight back and risk everything. But this wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about justice and exposing the corruption that poisoned Redwood from the top down. With courage fueled by desperation, Tone arranged a secret meeting with Reaper, the man who had betrayed everything Tone once believed in. In the shadowed corners of the prison's old boiler room, the two men faced off. Reaper's cold smile didn't waver as he held the same knife that had sealed Saint's fate. "Reaper, you don't belong here, Ramirez. You never did." But Tone, holding the evidence that could topple Reaper's empire, stared him down. "Tone, this ends now. I have what I need to bring you down. Your reign is over." Reaper laughed, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of fear. Word of the confrontation leaked. The prison exploded into chaos. Gangs took sides, violence ignited across every tier. The guards struggled to regain control as Redwood burned from the inside out. In the madness, Tone slipped through the cracks, determined to get the evidence to the outside world. But with enemies on every side, survival was anything but certain. Just when all seemed lost, an unexpected ally emerged. The warden herself. Unwilling to let her prison descend into total anarchy, she offered Tone a deal: protection in exchange for exposing Reaper's corruption. Tone had to decide if he could trust the very system that had betrayed him. But with his life on the line, the choice was clear. The warden's offer was more than a lifeline. It was a double-edged sword. She revealed that she'd been running a covert investigation into Reaper's network for months, but lacked the inside evidence. Tone's package was the missing piece, the smoking gun. Together, they planned to expose Reaper's control and dismantle the gang's grip on Redwood once and for all. But danger lurked in every corner. One wrong move, and Tone wouldn't live to see the dawn. Just as their plan was about to be set in motion, the unthinkable happened. A leak in the warden's office sent the prison into a frenzy. Reaper got wind of the alliance between Tone and the warden. He was enraged and ready to strike with deadly force. Betrayed, hunted, and outnumbered, Tone had to rely on every ounce of cunning and courage he had left. In the dead of night, the final battle erupted. Prisoners clashed, guards scrambled, and the walls echoed with the sounds of violence. Tone faced Reaper one last time. No weapons, just words and truth. "Tone, this ends tonight. Your empire crumbles." Reaper's empire did crumble, not just from the fight, but from the evidence Tone and the warden leaked to the outside world. The dust settled. Reaper was removed from power, facing charges beyond Redwood's walls. Tone survived, but the scars ran deep. He had lost friends, trust, and a part of himself. But in the darkest places, redemption can still be found. Tone's story became a warning that joining a prison gang might offer protection, but it comes with a cost few survive to pay. After the chaos settled, Tone faced a new battle: life beyond Redwood's walls. Freed early for his cooperation, he stepped into a world that had moved on without him. The gangs still haunted his memories. The friendships still weighed heavy on his conscience. And the scars, both physical and emotional, reminded him daily of the price he paid. But Tone was determined. Determined to rebuild. Determined to break the cycle. Tone's story isn't unique. It's the reality for thousands who enter prison hoping for protection, only to find themselves trapped in a deadly game of power, betrayal, and survival. Joining a gang may seem like the only option, but the cost is far greater than most realize. So before you judge, before you decide, remember Tone's journey. Remember the truth behind the walls. Because sometimes, the hardest prison isn't the one with bars. It's the one built from fear and loyalty. If you found this story eye-opening, hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories from behind prison walls. Drop a comment below. What would you do if you were in Tone's shoes? And remember, the truth is often stranger and darker than fiction. Stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more crimes and stories.